Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. NA 120 elections, the fight seems to be going strong as far as the PMLN is concerned. It is of course being led by Maryam Nawaz in the absence of her ailing mother. And as far as the PTI is concerned, we've seen, we're going to have Imran Khan speak today. Also, we see a lot of activity from the other major opponent in the election. Also, certain things she said today, Maryam Nawaz Sahiba said today, very interesting. She said that there is the conspiracy of the election commission, and the conspirators are trying to hide behind the election commission and the judiciary. Other things she said were, of course, that the major of the population has rejected the verdict, Panama verdict. Let's talk about all of that. Side by side, there's also the NAB references, which now will, the NAB hearings, which will now commence on the 12th. What does the situation look as far as this election is concerned? This is certainly a test case for Maryam Nawaz Sahiba also, as being in the leadership, being at the helm of affairs as far as this election is concerned. Interesting also is Chaudhry Nisar's statement about her role in the political party within the political sphere of things. We'll talk about all of that today. I have with me today Irfan Ghauri Saab, who's a senior journalist. Thank you for being with us today. Jan Achakzai Saab from the PMLN, thank you for joining us today. And Salman Britanni Saab, who's a senior analyst. Thank you for your time. Irfan Saab, like I said, it is true that the situation in NA 120, the way it is shaping up, it is certainly going to be, seems to be a hotly contested election, even though, it is a by-election. It is very much, with the PMLN certainly very much in the government and in the lead as far as, the helm of affairs, as far as the political reality of the situation is concerned. But how do you see this election? How do you see it specifically for the Sharif family, considering that they are certainly facing a lot of challenges, not only political, but also considering the fact that Kulthum Sahiba is unwell, and of course the family is going through that also. How do you see the situation?
Thank you, Mahrukh. Actually, this constituency, as we all know, it is the constituency from where the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, he was elected. He retained that constituency. He was elected from other constituencies as well, but he retained that constituency, and and the rest of the 2 or 3 he was elected from. He vacated those. And after this qualification, it's his wife, Maryam's mother.
Right.
And since she's not well, and Mia Saab, former Prime Minister, he's out of the country, number one, and number two is either he can participate in such campaign, or we're not sure, because it would have been in court somebody would have challenged. So Maryam is leading that. But for PTI, the importance of this constituency is that, their candidate, last time she secured a significant number of votes, which very strong candidate. And now the timing of this election, by-election, is that it's only, we are less than a year away from the general elections. So whatever the results will be, if there is a major upset, then it will be a catastrophic thing for PMLN.
Right.
But PTI, on the other hand, if they could give a tough fight, and that is right in the heart of the city and, the passion of PMLN, that will be also sort of a gain for them. This is what we, expect from these elections. Just few days away they are, but hopefully, we would be seeing a very tough election this time.
Considering the fact, Jan Saab, it is the fact it shouldn't have been a very tough election. Isn't that true also? Of course, you're from the PMLN, but realistically speaking, the way things have shaped up, it was, one of those, it would have been an easy fight, should have been, I would say, an easy fight for the PMLN, for the government, being in the power also, and within, now in the 4th year, 1 year to go in the elections, whatever, like what PMLN has been telling us, the achievements they've made, whatever, they've had to do, they've put in action. If not, we haven't, if there is some results are waiting, we still know that things that they were planning to tell us in the next election, they certainly are planning to tell us, are certainly in the pipeline. So it shouldn't have been that way.
Well, I would characterize it's not a life and death issue for PML Noon, but it's critically important from many perspectives. First, it's very much under the media microscopic gas for the first time, focusing because we have seen a kind of political legacy shifting from one generation of the Sharif family to the next generation of Sharif family led by Maryam Nawaz Sahiba. Her skills, her expertise, her synergy, and also how she relates with the people of the constituency and the voters generally would kind of prove her and mark another level of her leadership, because from here she will take the leap and she would go to the next level when she will be campaigning in 2018 general elections. Having said that, it's very important because the Panama judgment has been there. The narrative of our opponents is there that it has found some traction with the people. This is also important from that point of view, that we win it, and with a very respectable margin we win it. And the third most important thing is that it's very much the PML Noon believes that let Maryam Nawaz Sahiba be the lead campaigner, proving her mettle as people's leader. She is the new generation of the PML Noon, the new face.
But
this is why it's
if I may
important.
interrupt you there, it is certainly, your opponents are one thing, but as far as, your party members are concerned, we had some interesting statements from Chaudhry Nisar Sahab also, where he said that children are children, and that, she has she doesn't have a political role, and that she can't be compared to, for example, Bibi Benazir Bhutto earlier. What do you have to say to that? I mean, certainly she has a very real political role. We are seeing her leading the election campaign in the N8 120, very important landmark election for PMLN today.
Well, I think whether somebody like it or not, the fact of the matter is that Prime Minister, the people's, our party leader, Mian Nawaz Sharif, is at an age where he would already be thinking of retiring and passing on the battle to the next generation. So the next generation, who has got us expertise, background, skill, necessity, exposure, and his leadership and access to him and exposure was Maryam Nawaz Sahiba.
So you think there's some resentment there because of that?
Well, I mean, there might be personal likes and dislike. I mean, the fact is that the party leadership has to pass on to the new generation. This is a fact of life. That means the old guard also feel threatened, sometimes ignored, sometimes cornered, and I'm dead sure every new political leader leading a party would have a new team. So that means that is the case with Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and then when Benazir Bhutto Sahiba took over, she had a new team, new faces, and the old guard were not there. Right. And then we saw Zardari Saab taking over. He took new team and Bilawal. So the experience of People's Party is very much there. I think, this is why when Maryam Nawaz Sahiba will, lead the party full-fledged, which is likely to be the course because she is proving her mettle and also the NA 122 results simply endorse, her skills, expertise, and leadership qualities, and the way she relates to the people and the voters. Then, of course, she would be going to the next level of a face of PML Noon, of leadership material for the PML Noon. I think there will be people who will feel threatened. I got big regard for Chaudhry Nisar Sahab. He is a veteran of PML Noon. I mean, his experience is my old age.
Right. Let me come back to you, Jan Sahab. Let me go on to Bhatani Sahab. Bhatani Sahab, certainly, of course, like Jan Sahab says, certainly the passing on of political legacy, is one thing, but certainly, it's not necessary that it has to be in the family. Of course, our politics has seen that kind of trend. We saw that with Bilawal Bhutto. We saw, but as far as Maryam Nawaz Sahiba specifically is concerned, do you think that it is that resentment that is natural because she will be leading the party, like Jan Saab said, in the future, and there is that resentment behind Nisar Saab's statements, or do you think there's more?
Well, taking lead from Jan Saab's term of retirement about Nawaz Sharif, I don't think so that he is retiring anytime soon, because the kind of procession that he led from Rawalpindi to Lahore and the kind of public support and the kind of rhetoric that he was spelling out was not linking the fact that he might be thinking of retiring. But yes, obviously legacy is in the picture. Legacy is being, it's a foresight of a family, of a leadership. that who is going to take the control. But if you think about Muslim League Noon as a political force, it has strengthened itself over the last 10-15 years. Post 1999 episode and then coming out and then fighting different regimes and different cases, and then taking on the government and running the government successfully, then disqualifying. The whole roller coaster ride tells you a story, and then there are these institutions inside the party. So I think Chaudhry Nisar is not going anywhere. Khwaja Asif or the Khwajas from Lahore and from Sialkot or from Gujranwala division, they are very strong figureheads, and they have got strong constituency support. Yes, this is the test of leadership, test of mettle for Maryam Nawaz. She is proving, though she's alone, she is a lone warrior at the moment in NA 120, and I don't think so there would be an upset, but yes, there is some sort of confusion, there is some sort of nervousness, there's some sort of problem in calculation. As you said earlier, that it was thought to be an easy election, an easy by-election, but it is not. It has turned out to be a very strong battle. So this transformation will take place, but definitely I think the bigwigs of Muslim League Noon would consider the fact that only transferring the whole thing, the whole charisma that have been developed in the last 10 years to one person who is already, there are some resentment or there are some ifs and buts, that would be detrimental for the party. But if we, on the other hand, let me talk about PTI as well, that PTI has also seen a lot of ups and downs in the last 4 years. Right. There have been good times, there have been bad times, starting from the earlier big Jalsa that Imran Khan organized a few years back, and then coming to the center stage of politics, then there had been a lot of issues. So this NA 120 is also giving them some good space. Space to their party strength, where they have chosen a very strong candidate who has got very strong characteristics, strong credentials, though otherwise the other political parties have been using different mantras against PTI.
But it would, so you think that, you know, as far as the margin is concerned, because, you know, it is, most people expect PMLN to win, but the margin is the real test.
Definitely the margin will speak themselves, because already, as my earlier friend said, that in the last election against Mian Mohammad Nawaz Sharif, who I think has been by far the most strongest of candidates in the whole of the constituencies of Pakistan since his old experience, she secured a good number of votes, and the kind of campaign that she is leading now has created this scissors among the PMLN workers and PMLN middle tier and second tier leadership, that things are getting on the other side. Though it was not expected, because the kind of disqualification card they were playing, it was expected that they will get some votes, and plus with the detrimental health of, may Allah be with her, of mother of Maryam Nawaz, this was also expected by the Pandits that they will get a good number of votes. But now if they are not sure about it, if they are not confident about it, and there are these impressions of some sort of differences amongst the party leadership, particularly this election is going on in a place which has been the stronghold of PML Noon for a longer period of time, and they have a government over there, but there is this element of other heirs to the thrones as well, who are also part of the, there is some sort of Game of Thrones going on. So that element is also not going in the favor of PMLN in the constituency.
Right, right. Coming to you, Irfan Saab, certainly that is as far as the election of NA 120, but the NAB references are also right around the corner, and the hearings are about to start. Do you think that will have a significant impact on these elections?
I don't think in this election, but on general elections it will. I mean, today, this process has begun in a way that practically it has begun. But today, 4 references have been filed. Right. Though one of them
against the family,
including Maryam Nawaz as well, because her name was always was there as well. So, and it will be seen that if the court's order are that they should be concluded within the 6 months from now onwards.
Right.
At the same time, we will be seeing that what they call it, the court's review petition of the Sharif family.
Right, that has also been accepted.
That's been fixed now.
Right.
So, on 12th, it will be interesting because one of the pleas of the Sharif family was that these NAB proceedings should be suspended till the review petition is decided. So we would have to see, and the judges, the three judges, what they decide on that. But coming back to this election, I don't think it will have that much impact because it will take longer time. What will be the outcome of those?
Right. What the references actually come to?
Yes, but the constituency itself, what we have been seeing right now is Maryam Nawaz, though she's leading campaign and all that, but the difference is what we were mentioning. This is a very significant development within Noon League. They were supposed to elect their president. Earlier they had elected a interim or a temporary president, and
right.
that was supposed to be held, I think, today, sir? Was it today? I think yes. And that had been postponed. One reason is that Nawaz Sharif Saab and
of course
they are out of the country, but there are other reasons as well. Similarly, in Lahore, within the Sharif family, it's an open secret now that there are differences on many matters. And some of the people, the senior lot, I have, to some extent, I would disagree with my colleague here that some of the, senior lot, they accuse that the stance that Mia Saab had taken against certain institutions.
Right.
That was, the reason was that Maryam Saiba was the main advisor on these things, and they think that this had one of the effects on all these things, what had happened to.
But Irfan Saab, specifically about now that the review has been fixed, also certain things that Maryam Saiba said today, that the election commission, the conspirators are hiding behind the election commission and the judiciary. That is a statement that she made today on a TV channel. How do you see this, considering the fact that now they are going for review? And that same judiciary. So this is, and throughout the speeches that were made by Mia Saab on his, from when he went from to Lahore, we saw that he kept on saying that it's a conspiracy, and it was, and now Maryam Saiba is also saying that in all the jalsas, that it was part of a conspiracy that to oust the former Prime Minister from his office.
I think on Election Commission's part, basically, if you can recall, Election Commission had decided that, and actually this was to some extent a misreporting as well. They would be using the biometric machines and the electronic voting machines in this election, though it was as a pilot project. But later on, it was when they got data from Nadra. So around 30,000 voters, their thumb impressions are missing. So the opponents, the PTI and other opposition parties, they think that those voters and all those whose data is not available, these are the ones who can be dodgy voters. So that is what they consider. As far as the conspiracy thing is concerned, I think it should be. If there was some conspiracy or whatever, Mia Saab had been saying that, Maryam has been saying openly that they should reveal it. It's time to do that.
What is the conspiracy? We keep hearing about it. What is there behind all of this, about talk about a conspiracy that has been going on since the verdict came in? Of course, the Prime Minister did accept it.
The contours, that were remain least transparent were highlighted and flagged time and again during the whole process. The way GIT was formed, the WhatsApp call, the members, even one of the members was bashed even 2 days ago by one of the honorable judges of the Supreme Court, and also the way GIT report was pulled up. So all these pointed to a certain orchestrated move. Now, having said that, who were the mastermind, who were the planners, I have no data on that, but these were the least transparent acts that we flagged time and again. Having said that, let me clarify.
So you're saying that there was and there is a conspiracy against the PMLN, against the Sharif family not the
I mean,
not the PMLN. But
well, what
but
do you
they
make
don't-
of it when the a process called GIT was formed? Never in the past that has been formed. For the first time, we have seen which article of the Constitution. Then the way it was formed, the members were picked up, the WhatsApp call, and some of the members who were very much biased against the PML Noon, and they were were part of the GIT team. And again, the report that was very much flawed in many ways, that was used as some sort of evidence and pass on to the rest of the judicial process, like we see on the basis of that report, which was no more than a taftishi report, what I call it. We should have no evidentiary value in the lower courts, but they have been constituted as a reference, and this is why the whole process of NAB being skipped, the inquiry, investigation, and then references, and then trial. So we see a new sort of precedent being set now. Is that suggest that Prime Minister has the legal exceptions? Yes, but does that mean that the justice is being done, or justice is seen to be done? Of course, he being the main victim, all along is saying that 10A, the fair trial right is being compromised, and we have seen it time and again. So that is the overall context. Now, having said that, the political case, Nawaz Sharif Saab, the party leader, is not going to retire as we discussed today. He is hale and hearty, he is charismatic, he has energized his vote bank, and he would continue to be around as long as he can. Now, being a politician, of course, being a statesman, he would be eyeing on his legacy as well. So, that is very normal.
We keep talking about legacy, and this is what's interesting. And conspiracy or no conspiracy, there's for Chaudhry Nisar Saab to give an interview at this point, which is, really damaging. We would all have to agree, against Mariam Nawaz Sahiba, who's leading the campaign in NA 120, and he's saying that children are only children; they cannot be accepted as leaders. Is that a point of view of a certain PMLN portion of the PMLN, which disregards her or wants to disregard her leadership of the PMLN?
Well, I will not be telling the truth if I say there is no difference of opinion as to what strategy PML Noon should adopt, how we present our case, what should be the narrative post Panama judgment, and how Mariam Nawaz should shape she being acting upon as the new leader taking over. So all these questions are being debated within the party. There are certain stalwarts within. They have a difference of opinion. Sometimes it show up in the media. Sometimes it remains within the party. Sometimes it remain a private opinion, but any dynamic party would have this discussion, which is healthy. This is what democracy is all about, but we agree to disagree, and that debate ideally should be within the party.
You're saying that
within the party, but sometimes it's being picked up by the media, because media loves what we call it in Urdu chatpati khabre, and that's one of that.
Yes, but this is understandable.
Up.
I mean, these are just direct quotes.
But I think one thing is very much clear. We have got leader whose name is Mian Nawaz Sharif, who has got a vote bank. We all win because of him. I mean, let's be honest with that. Without him, nobody is anybody. I mean, there are certain examples I can give you, I can quote, who, when they disassociated with Mian Nawaz Sharif, they are Mr. Nobody in the world of politics. Now, if he is the leader, if he has got energized vote bank, definitely that's his right to decide how he will shape his legacy, and also this criteria of sitting, whether it should be that he should kind of set a new trend and avoid the buck, whether it should be within the family. I think if that is the culture in South Asia, we are asking for too much from a leader who think that will be in the safe hand. And then the peoples have their own psyche. They don't trust me, they trust Mariam Nawaz.
Right. According Bhatani Sahab, according to Jan Sahab, it is that people who would trust Mariam Nawaz and not any other person in the same situation. Whether it's true or not, and whether she certainly is the leader in the absence of her father, as far as this election is concerned, in the absence of the family, whether she comes out and becomes the leader of PMLN, the leader of PMLN, it remains to be seen. And like Jan Sahab is saying, certainly the Mia Nawaz Sharif seems to be, you know, right. He's at the very center of things. He's still, and he's quite well, and may he continue to be so. But, you know, as far as the challenges of the party are concerned, you know, let's compare it to the PTI. As far as Imran Khan is concerned, his party, he has always said and continues to say, is not based on any sort of, you know, his children are too young, and there doesn't seem to be that kind of a hierarchy there. Isn't that true? And I mean, there seems, according to him, he says that it is about merits as far as the PTI is concerned, and not so much about children, or not so much as passing the baton on to, you know, like a legacy or like a family business.
Well, as a student of politics, I think that Maryam Nawaz would need to wait for some years. She need to prove her mettle. Whether people will like her or not, she still has to prove that she has the capacity or capability. As far as anyone 20 is concerned, and as far as the helm of affairs are concerned, she's going well. But thinking about, talking about PTI, so their politics revolves around this anti-dynastic rhetoric. They have been talking about People's Party and PMLN in the same tone, and Imran Khan has been time and again saying that I would not introduce my children as my political heirs. Because
that's what differentiates PTI from both the PPP and now the PMLN.
That's the point of difference, and that's their card to sell. They are kind of flagging this distinction from the other parties, that we are not dynastic political forces. We do not believe in dynastic politics, while the other two parties are exactly believing in dynastic politics. While one has chosen Bilawal Bhutto, and he has been made a Zardari, and he is a Zardari and he's been made a Bhutto, and then he has been given all of the political role in the party, though there are stalwarts over there as well. Whether you agree with them or disagree with them, keeping disagreements aside, there are big guns over there who have got long political careers.
After Benazir Bhutto's death also, you know, and the emerging of the will, and we saw, you know, changing of the name, we still saw the same party, and we saw that, you know, the PPP came into power as the party of Bhuttos. And, you know, there were certain disagreements, certain people chose to leave also, you know, old stalwarts, like you said. But that didn't really matter as far as the politics of, you know, the politics of PPP was concerned.
But so Mahrukh, you see, just since we are talking about NA120, everybody is considering NA120 as PMLN versus PTI thing.
Right.
If you go by your argument, it should have been PMLN, PPP and PTI.
Right.
So PPP is not in the news anymore. They are kind of struggling, particularly in Punjab.
So
they have lost their base in southern Punjab as well, which were their stronghold. And here the case with PMLN is the same, that there are people who have got strong credentials, who have got long political career, who have been very loyal to the party.
But according to Jan Sahab, they would be nothing without Mia Nawaz Sharif, and it is because of him that, you know, the votes come. It is because of him that the party is it is very much Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Sharif.
There is no doubt about the fact that Mia Nawaz Sharif has got a strong hold as far as electoral politics is concerned. And it would not be incorrect to say that he is the main force behind attraction of votes. But there is a teamwork as well. And you see, when there is this transformation in the political generations, you see there is this kind of insecurity that everybody is identifying. There should have not been an insecurity. He should have made the institution very strong. But Pakistan, the political scene in Pakistan is like there are personality who dominates the parties.
Right.
For example, if we see PTI minus IK, it would not be a strong political force. Imran Khan is the main political force behind, main political attraction behind that political force. That is true, but things are changing now. The times are changing now. Old electoral traditions are changing.
Right.
We have got a definite impact of different mediums. Media has a different impact now than past. Social media is there.
Right.
You know, there is a trend on Twitter and things change. Just to add on a lighter note, CM KPK wanted to build a swimming pool in his CM house, and because of all this hue and cry on social media and media, they had to cancel it. So there is the trends are changing, it would not be that simple.
Right,
The
exactly.
kind of calculation that Zardari made when he was transferring heirship to Bilawal, they kind of not worked out, because they have been trying different persons in Punjab as president of Punjab. At the end of the day, they came to the consensus that yes, Kaira Saab is the best man, but I think it's too late now. They've been trying one another, A, B, C, D.
But
They have
certainly,
not worked.
their own, the performance of the PPP is also one of the reasons when they were in power that they were rejected, as far as the vote bank was concerned, and not only dynastic politics.
In Pakistani politics, you see, it is very difficult to sustain continuity, because generally, while you were talking about conspiracy and no conspiracy and all these conspiracy theories and this institutional gameplay between different institutions, it is very difficult at the moment to continue as a government and to prove your mettle. I think Nawaz Sharif was also frustrated about the fact that we were developing the country and there are some forces who are not letting us do that.
Right, let's talk more about that. Irfan Saab, as far as that whole rhetoric about the fact that, rhetoric or reality about the fact that the PMLN was developing the country and then this happened, as far as the growth of the country is concerned, the economy is concerned, the challenges they faced as in the foreign affairs of the country is concerned, that may be true or not. But let's talk about particularly the NAB, the trial that is about to commence. In view of the fact, do you think there will be a bail before arrest, before these references, before the trials, the references commence and the trials actually start? And if that is so, will the Prime Minister, will the Sharif family continue? Certainly Mariam is the one actively pursuing politics at this moment, but will that continue?
Mahrukh, before going to that, I think when we were discussing these, I would add to that our political parties, they should be, now these main political parties mainly, they should now think that they should make them as an institutions. And it is unfortunate that till now, in 21st century, we still run them as family enterprises, you would say, or whatever. They are based on the families. And be it People's Party, then now Nawaz PMLN, or even Imran Khan's parties, it's correct that if you minus Imran Khan, it is, there are so many leaders there. I don't know, in last elections, there were 4 or 5 different candidates of prime ministership. And we don't know if they next time they
right. If the situation, if the PTI does come in power, we might.
The difference is that's a separate thing. But the thing is that political parties, they should have proper system where there should be proper intra-party elections. I strongly believe in that, and that setup should be from top to the bottom, and that will help them. And that is in democracies, that is how it is. Coming to the NAB, yes, the
but
next.
According to Jan Saab, I will go on to him later, but he's very clear. He says that whoever Mia Mohammad Nawaz Sharif will nominate will be the next leader, and certainly we saw with the Prime Minister now, we saw that he was nominated, and and the transfer of power to him was very smooth, and the PMLN retained. Managed that quite effectively. It was his choice, and he chose Khaqan Abbasi Sahab, who is the Prime Minister today, and things have gone on, in the same. The cabinet was chosen, and very much by him being the leader of the PMLN.
At the same time, after this Prime Minister's election, when they had to elect their party president, interim party president, there were differences, and I think Chaudhry Nisar Sahab and some other people, they raised the objection that this is not an election if you have already selected somebody, and why you have called the meeting of their, I think their working part, joint working party, or whatever that forum is. So there were differences at that time as well, and which is a healthy sign. The people, the senior people in the party, they should raise their voice, and I think this is something
it's certainly more democratic.
It is. It should be. But practically, it should be. Everybody should have. It's not even in PTI. Last elections, they had. They were much more better elections than they had these ones. The few months back. where Imran Khan, against Imran Khan, there was a person who nobody knew who that person is. So you are negating the very basis of the democracy.
Isn't it true that with the PTI also it's very much about Imran Khan? It's very much who he nominates, you know, which is the criteria,
that culture,
which is a credential as far as, you know, any leader is concerned, if they want to be from the PTI, if they want to get ahead in the PTI. So it's also democratic, you know, it's not very democratic whether it's any party at this time.
No, that is the culture we need to change if you want to, because you know, I mean, this now what has happened is that I mean, when Nawaz Sharif Saab has been disqualified, there is sort of a, you know, I mean, so many differences within the party, and this is being admitted by the, I mean, representatives of the party as well. And if Imran Khan, you know, there are one or two at least two cases which can go, you know, against him as well. One of them is disqualification, and almost they have the same grounds which Nawaz Sharif Saab was disqualified for, and that is
disclosure. I think
that is the disclosure of a company, you know, overseas company he had made, what they call them, shell company he had made, and he said that since that flat was sold, but the company very much existed till 2015. So if Nawaz Sharif Saab was disqualified on the basis of a salary which he says he didn't draw,
right,
and that thing was missing in his nomination paper, so same is there. Similarly, that won't warrant disqualification, I guess, but the party funding case, I mean, that is in the election commission, and PTI had been, you know, running away from 2014 from that, and now the High Court, they have given, you know, I mean, quite strict orders. So in that case, you know, I mean, if you think of a scenario, so there will be a crisis in PTI as well. Similarly, when Benazir Sahiba was assassinated, I mean, these things, you know, and you know, in the developed world, I mean, you don't even remember who was the, you know, I mean, the next prime minister comes, and be it Labour Party, if you take the example, Johnson has been reporting there for a long time, you know, in it's Conservative Party or Labour Party, you know, they have a process where a leader is selected. I mean, we have to move towards that. We cannot continue with the same traditions.
Right. Let's talk about the NAB references.
The NAB references, yes, the NAB references. I mean, the next few days, they have asked NAB to complete the documents till Tuesday, and after that, I think they will be issuing summons to the parties, to both the parties. And there is likely that, I mean, that they will be given bail. That is most likely the case. But these cases will continue, and before that, I think this 12th September hearing of the court, because one of the pleas is to stop NAB from proceedings. So that will be also, you know, I mean, over there, the judges will decide that if NAB should continue
think the
with that.
political activity will continue if there is a bail for before arrest and once the references do start? Sorry? The political activity will continue.
That will continue, of course, that will continue. I don't think there will be any pause in that.
Right. Let me go to Jan Saab. You know, some interesting things that Imran Khan Saab also said were that, you know, he's glad that they got this, they didn't make, you know, they didn't make government in the center, and that, you know, it took them a year to actually learn the ropes as far as the KPK is concerned. Do you think that has made, it will change things for the PTI? It will significantly give them an edge as far as the next election is concerned? The experience of governing a province versus, you know, the mistakes they might have made if they had immediately come into the center?
Well, if that mistake or that learning curve may cost them a province in terms of getting the next government there, that means, you know, they would not have a government in a province. Second, would that be a good sign for any political party? If I'm the leader, I would lose my sleep over, because if a political party want to have a central government, they also want to retain their provincial governments, whether it's PPP or PML Noon. So it will be a big setback if PML Noon, God forbid, loses Punjab and get something in center, which is not, you know, very likely scenario, because many of the members coming from one region.
Right.
And then again PPP losing Sindh and trying to win over in center. So this PTI has a strange logic that he does not want to preserve his position in KPK and think that
No,
what
but do you think that it will help them in the next election, this experience and the fact that, you know, they have avoided mistakes?
Let me rephrase myself. I mean, if next election means in KPK, definitely they would lose big time, because they use it as a experience, as a province to be experienced with, to be flirted with, you know, rather than, you know, providing a good governance. Second, they did not have the real team that they were boosting, that everything is ready. When we take over, we would work out on the social engineering, economic, and other sectors will work out. So we have not seen that. Now, having said that, still it's a party in mess. Democracy is as deficit a project as still a middle class ideal, and we keep entertaining. If we have the complaint against PML Noon and PPP, the same can be said about the PTI. As far as the Western citing the models and examples, again we forget that it's, you know, centuries old traditions that become, you know, party underpinnings.
Do we need to invent the real wheel again?
There is no shortcut for evolution. I mean, yes, I would, you know, go ahead, you know, you must be a dreamer of middle class values, but this is the reality when you have a different dynamics. I mean, you're talking about any Western democracy. US, you know, the 54th president means 245 years. 245 years.
Right, of course.
So the Westminster democracy is the mother of all democracy,
right.
and we can have a debate on that. But you know, one thing I want to clarify is this, that you know, the NAB cases would continue. Whether if a court feels that they need to appear, they would appear. They would have bail before arrest. That's the normal procedure. But you know, any political leader, this is not a certain an ordinary case against somebody who has got a corruption, who has been found guilty of corruption, and who has admitted that, okay, here is the money. It's a political case. They are political figures. You know, something that has a political dimension to it. Whatever the NAP cases are, it's not going to make him somebody who is a criminal or guilty.
Right.
It has a political consequences. It will touch the heart of the base. He will be a political martyr, whether he's in jail, whether he's campaigning, whether he has a suspended sentence.
So whatever verdict you're
whatever the verdict
will have
is
no
not
bearing
going
on the
to
political
liquidate Nawaz Sharif as a political leader, and also it will not kind of you know, exploit him, you know, remove him from the scene just because a court has this judgment. Otherwise, we would be you know, rewriting a history.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yes,
taking my colleague's time, but the thing is that I don't know why we can say that these NAB references, they can be a political case. I don't know. I mean, because these are based on something which, if you now object to the JIT, I mean, the report of the JIT,
right.
I don't know. I mean, when you accepted that in the Supreme Court, and that had come from the court of law,
Right.
and this is if that is politically motivated, that means all those cases. I mean, this is unfortunate that our political leaders, when it comes to accountability of them, they call it they become victims.
I mean, a court of law also had a judgment against Benazir Bhutto. Nobody accepted it. Another judgment was against Benazir Bhutto, sorry, Late Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. That was also called court of law and Supreme Court. So the history is there. We are still, you know, the slaves of that legacy.
But Jan Sahab, you're saying that whatever, you know, if there is a verdict and, you know, the NAB references against Mia Saab and the family, the PMLN will not accept it. Regardless, they will continue.
Well, this is not the first time that we are talking about accountability. We have been here thrice, and this is the fourth time. So we have seen it sometimes.
Right, unfortunately, we're running out of time. Let me just take Bhatani Saab's intake. Bhatani Saab, you know, your view of Imran Khan's, you know, statement as far as his, you know, party participation in the center, you know, his saying that it took them a year to learn. That is realistic, certainly, being that it's not a very, very long, it doesn't have a long life PTI. You know, it's a relatively new party. It needed that time, perhaps. And, you know, maybe things will, and maybe it will work out better for them.
Well, in today's politics, you don't have this margin of, you know, waiting for a year or so. But I think we should also appreciate that he at least accepted. All political parties learn from mistakes, and all have learned from mistakes. Nobody can deny that. But in today's politics and the kind of age that we are living in, the criticality of the age demands, warrants that you should be very much prepared. You should have a very strong team. And plus, if you have realization that 1 year was not enough, then after that 1 year, that there should have been some gross changes. But still, if he believes that he has learned a lot, I think it's a positive sign.
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have today. Thank you for joining us, Irfan Saab. Thank you for being with us, Jan Saab, your time, and thank you for being with us, Patani Saab. Let's not forget that the election, NA 120 election, whatever happens, whatever margin there is between the winner and the losers, it will determine a kind of what the people are looking at, what a trend in politics post the Panama verdict. That can't be denied. Also, you know, the fact that what the future leadership of PMLN, certainly it is a test case for Maryam Nawaz as in the leadership, where at the very helm of affairs as far as this election is concerned. So let's see what happens, and of course, as the family also faces the NAB references and very real accountability against, you know, proceedings against them. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.
What's up, Patel? What's up, Clubber? Stop now! Stop!
We have a vision to be among the most respected air forces of the world. Through our core values, integrity, excellence,
मदद मांगी। हेल्थ सेक्टर में भी क्या हम समझें कि कोई काम किया जाएगा या इससे एक परसेप्शन लिया जाए इस बात का कि जी हम मजीद कोई हेल्थ सेक्टर को बेहतर बनाएंगे, पंजाब में कोई रिफॉर्म होंगे?
देखें जी, पंजाब और पाकिस्तान एक ही हैं। जो तकरीबन 36 हॉस्पिटल की बात मियां मोहम्मद नवाज शरीफ साहब ने की थी, वो तो पूरे पाकिस्तान में हम नहीं बनाने जा रहे थे, ठीक है। इसके अलावा जो मैं आपको बता दूं, नहीं NA 120 की, फिर आप पहले पाकिस्तान की बात करते हैं, फिर एक हल्के पे आ जाते हैं। अगर आप देखें तो जो सिस्टम बना है इस वक्त, जो स्पोर्ट्स पे काम हो रहा है, पंजाब ने सबसे ज़्यादा उसमें फंडिंग की है। 15 अरब रुपया स्पोर्ट्स पे दिया जा रहा है। ग्राउंड नहीं बनाए जा रहे हैं बच्चों के लिए। इसी तरह हेल्थ सेक्टर में आप जाकर देखें तो सबसे ज़्यादा काम वो हुआ है। आप जहाँ पहले डायलिसिस सेंटर नहीं थे वो बन चुके हैं, MRI मशीनें थी वो नहीं लग चुकी हैं, बहुत सारे ये काम हो चुके हैं। अब उसके साथ साथ मियां मोहम्मद नवाज शरीफ साहब ने एक और फोर्स बनाई है जो कि फूड अथॉरिटी है, जो जाकर चेक करती है तमाम उन होटल्स को, छोटे हों या बड़े हों, जहाँ फूड के मिकदार बेहतर रही थी। उस पर बहुत सारे लोगों पर जुर्माने भी हुए हैं, पर्चे भी हुए हैं, लोग जेलों में गए हैं, उसमें भी बेहतरी आ रही है। अगर इस तरह की वो सिस्टम चलाते रहेंगे तो ज़रूर एक दिन आएगा कि हम और आगे निकल जाएंगे। देखिए ना, यकदम कोई चीज़ नहीं होती। बजट जो होता है, बजट को हमने पूरे सूबे में लगाना होता है, वो पूरे सूबे के अंदर एक काम कर रहे हैं। और इंशाल्लाह मियां मोहम्मद नवाज शरीफ की जो परफॉर्मेंस है, सब जितने भी 3 और सूबे हैं उन सब से बेहतर जा रही है।
آخری کچھ لمحات ہیں آپ کا لاسٹ لائنر اس کے اوپر. کیا عوام اب اتنے اویئر ہیں ہمارے کہ گورننس کی بنیادوں پر وہ صوبوں کے بیچ میں ڈسٹنگوش کر پائیں کہ جی وہاں پر ان کی حکومت ہے یہ پرفارمنس ہے, یہاں پر ان کی ہے یہ پرفارمنس ہے؟ کین دے ایویلیویٹ اور ڈفرینشیٹ؟
دیکھیں یہ جو عوام ہے نا یہ آج سے نہیں, یہ پاکستان کی تاریخ کے اندر عوام ہمیشہ ہی باشعور رہے ہیں. آپ یہ کہیں کہ پبلک کو نہیں پتا, پبلک کو سب کو پتا ہے, وہ جو ہے نا پبلک سب کچھ جانتی ہے.
رائٹ, لاسٹ منٹ.
تو اس میں میں وہ سیاسی رہنما نہیں بن سکتا کہ جو علاقوں کی بنیاد کے اوپر عوام کو یا عوام کے شعور کو کبھی زندہ لاشیں کہہ دینا یا کچھ اور کہہ دینا. میرا خیال کہ پبلک کا شعور جو ہے وہ دن بدن بڑھا ہے. اور یہ یہاں پہ بھی ابھی یہ تو ایک بہت جو ہے نا چھوٹا NA-120 کا جو الیکشن ہے, یہ کوئی ایسا ماں سوائے اس کے کہ وہاں پہ کلثوم نواز ہار جائیں, اس کے علاوہ اس کی کوئی افادیت نہیں ہے. لیکن 2018 کا الیکشن جو ہے وہ کس نیریٹو کے اوپر اور کس طرح سے لڑا جائے گا, دیٹ ول بی ویری امپورٹنٹ.
ٹھیک ہے, دیٹ از ورتھ واچ. اس نوٹ پہ آج کے پروگرام کو وائنڈ اپ کرتے ہیں. بہت شکر گزار ملک ابرار صاحب نے ہمارا ساتھ دیا تھا, عبدالقیوم صدیقی صاحب ہمارے ساتھ موجود تھے. ویری گریٹفل فار دا ٹو جینٹلمین فار آل دیئر ٹائم. اس وقت ہم نے بات کی NA-120 کی تمام پولیٹیکل جو سیناریو ہے اور جس طرح سے چیزیں آگے بڑھ رہی ہیں. 17 سپٹمبر کا یہ مارکا یقیناً ورتھ واچ ہوگا, اور اس کے اندر عوام جیسے کہ بتایا جا رہا ہے کہ دن بدن باشعور ہوتے جا رہے ہیں, تو یقیناً اسی شعور کی بنیادوں پر وہ اپنے اس دفعہ کے مینڈیٹ کو بھی مبنی کریں گے. پروگرام دیکھنے کا شکریہ. اپنا فیڈ بیک ہمارے سوشل میڈیا ہینڈلز پہ نہ بھولیے گا. اللہ حافظ.